Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on which part of the world you're joining. I hope you had a nice day so far. And if not, we're going to try to make it a bit better up ahead. Before we begin, I would like to remind you once again that this session is going to be recorded. We do this, of course, in order to be able to provide you with the recording also later on. So you can also go through the presentation and everything that will be shared at your own time. And of course, by joining in this session, you're also agreeing to this experience. As you may have noticed already, and if you haven't done it so far, I'm sure you will figure it out. Your mics and cameras are disabled. We have disabled them in order to protect your data. But of course, interaction throughout the session is not only possible, but it's even encouraged by us. All you have to do is just hit on the chat box icon. You can do it by clicking on this icon right here and share with us any question you may have, any reflection, anything of that sort. We'll gather everything and we will address it, of course, during our Q&A session at the, let's say, end part of this session. All right. And by now, I see that most of you have joined. And I would like to welcome you once again to this session, the Q&A session, Let's Get OUTSTEAMing. This session is powered by the OUTSTEAM project, which is funded by the European Union and supported by Scientix. And it's also part of the OUTSTEAM MOOC, OUTSTEAM in Action, Let's STEAM. At this point, I would like to introduce myself also a bit more properly. My name is Nicola Ostezas, and on behalf of the OUTSTE team at the UN, I would like to welcome you for the third time, and I'll keep welcoming you. We're very happy to have you here this session, and we hope that by the end of it, you will have a better understanding about the MOOC. Having said that, in this session, we will try to get to know the MOOC a little bit better. We will share some tips and some tricks that possibly will help you have a better experience with it. And of course, we will begin a lot of discussions and explore reflections together with the Scientix Ambassadors who created the OUTSTEAM learning scenarios. Speaking of which, together here with us, we have Michalis Ioannou and Anna Luro, both of which are Scientix Ambassadors and authors of the OUTSTEAM learning scenarios. Let me just say at this point that thank you for being here, but don't worry, everyone will have the chance to interact with you later on. And additionally, you might also notice my colleague Camila. And in case you have any technical difficulty or you would like to address something, sort of an issue, please don't hesitate. Use the chat box and we'll try to address it as fast as possible. All right. Here at this point, I have the first task for you today. Please access the signature list and provide us with your signatures by accessing this link over here or by scanning this barcode. It's a very short procedure. There are only 4 items for you to, let's say, complete: your name, surname, and address of your school or place of employment. I will do it myself, and I will give you also a couple of minutes to do so. So no worries. Additionally, in case you don't get to do it before I begin again with a session and go on with a session, no worries. We will share the link also in the chat so you can do it at your own time. So without further ado, let's all do this, and we will begin with a session right after. All right, I'm already done myself, but I'll give you some time. Excellent. As I said, in case you haven't done, you haven't had a chance to do so, don't worry. My colleague Camila will be sharing the link also in the chat. And we would also like to share the agenda with you so you know more or less what we're going to talk about. We've already had some welcoming remarks, so that's done. We will talk a little bit about the OUTSTE project and the MOOC itself, but very briefly. We'll talk what the OUTSTE project is about and what the MOOC is trying to do. You'll get to meet your MOOC moderator. That's Michalis Ioannou. Maybe some of you have already interacted with him, but you'll get to hear more information from him. Then we'll move with some tricks and tips, some advice regarding the MOOC. We'll get to discuss a little bit more with the Scientix Ambassadors and get to benefit from different kind of reflections that hopefully we'll have after the discussion. We'll begin a whole new section of audience Q&A where we will discuss the questions that you have left either in the chat or maybe the European Schoolnet Academy platform. And of course, we'll close with some closing remarks. In case there is any question, feel free to share it in the chat. And as discussed, it will be addressed either on the spot if it's any technical issue or later on at the Q&A session. And let's move directly to the OUTSTE project. What are we trying to do? Most of you know a little bit or more or less about STEM education. And you also know the problems and challenges that are associated to STEM education or STEAM education. So OUTSTE is trying to address, first and foremost, the insufficient attention that is given to STEAM education in the early years, in the early childhood education and care settings, as well as in primary schools. And we do this by trying to promote a high quality STEM education. We're doing this by trying to reconnect students and pupils with nature and the outdoor learning environment. We're trying to increase awareness regarding the different STEM career pathways that exist, to increase the use of technology, but in an age-appropriate way, and for sure to tackle any kind of gender stereotypes that unfortunately exist in our STEM and STEAM teaching practices. And the big question comes, how do you do all these things? Yeah, I'm very happy you're asking. I'm going to answer the question right away. Well, there are many, many ways that we do so, but we have, let's say, three main channels, three main paths that we're very proud of. We have the OUTSTE Toolkit itself with a lot of resources ready for teachers and educators to use, whether they work at in early childhood education and care settings or primary schools. We have the MOOC itself. That's how you're all here today. And we also have we're also going to prepare recommendations for policymakers. The recommendations are basically suggestions that we are going to propose to those that make the decisions regarding STEM education and STEAM in general. Hoping that future initiatives will learn from what the project done and what needs also to be addressed in the future. But of course, we're not doing all these things alone. OUTSTE is a project of 4 partner organizations from different countries across Europe. And in case you want to know more about them, all you have to do is just click on the icon here. I'll just show you right now, right over here. And there is more information about our partners. Now, regarding the OUTSTE Toolkit, maybe some of you had a chance to already access it through the MOOC. It's already available for you in Module 1, but in case you haven't done it, all you have to do is just click on the icon here, and you'll be able to download the resources themselves. And among others, among the resources that are in the toolkit, you're going to have access to the OUTSTE learning scenarios, to the OUTSTE games and toys. They're actually games that teachers and educators can use in their STEAM approaches. You will have also access to the job profiles. We're talking about video interviews and other relevant resources that can help teachers to promote awareness and increase awareness regarding the STEM field, careers in the STEM field. And for sure, there are also guidelines with instructions on how to use the toolkit. What I would like to say here is that every material in the toolkit has been created in, let's say, relation to 3 main themes. We're talking about they're relevant to ways to take care of nature and the oceans. Maybe they talk about the exploration of the solar system and space, or they're addressing the weather as a concept. And we do this because in this way, you will be able to use the different parts of the different materials of the toolkit in relation to one another. But more about this also in the MOOC. There is a lot about it, and we're looking forward to your reflections, actually. And we go directly to the MOOC. That's how you're all joined today. It's an online course, the OUTSTE MOOC, OUTSTE in Action Let's STEAM. It's an online course. It runs from the 12th of January until the 18th of February 2026. And what we're trying to do with it is to help teachers and educators in ECEC or primary schools to learn more about the integrated STEM or STEAM approach, to explore the toolkit and get familiar with the ways that the toolkit is suggesting to promote integrated STEM education. We're also trying to help them promote inclusive, sustainable, and age-appropriate technology practices. And of course, let's say the output of the MOOC itself is to help the greatest target, the goal is to help teachers promote meaningful STEAM activities. All right, there are 4 modules, 3 live events, and you also have from module 4 until the deadline 1.5 grace period for you to finish the final assignment, let's say. A very important note here, and probably will save you a lot of internal battle, cognitive battle. We would like to make the note that integrated STEM equals STEAM. And when we see the A in brackets in the word STEAM, we're talking about all subjects, not just art. All right. If we were to talk only about art, we would have the word STEAM without the brackets. And in this MOOC, in the project OUTSTEAM itself, we are adopting this approach. We are adopting the integrated STEM or STEAM approach. And that's what we will also try to show you throughout the modules. Once again, any question, you know what to do. Just follow the chat button icon. All right. As I said before, everything we try to do with this MOOC is to give you any possible material, idea, suggestion, tip that you could use in order to promote meaningful STEAM learning with your students. And we do this by prompting you, by guiding you how to use the OUTSTEAM learning scenario. So you can use it actually as a guide. You can use it to turn your attention, your own attention, to the elements that need to be there in order to create meaningful STEM learning. All right, you have access to the template from the MOOC, but you can also access it from this link here. And some more details regarding the MOOC. I would like to say, well, from this you may already know, but learning in this MOOC is asynchronous. That means that you can complete the modules at your own pace, at your own time, but keep in mind the following. There is a deadline for the MOOC. It's Wednesday, the 18th of February, end of day. So if you want a certificate, then complete everything by the 18th of February. Now, if you want a certificate, or in order to get a certificate, you need to have 95% completion. All right, and you can do this by just simply completing the peer assessment activity. That will automatically give you 95%. All great, you pass. If you do it within the deadline, important to remember. Now, for those of you that want to do go the extra step and reach the 100, all you have to do is complete the rest of the activities, and especially the quizzes we have in the MOOC. Given that you complete everything within the deadline, you will receive the certificates on the 20th of February. And regarding the peer assessment activity, there is a lot of information in the MOOC, but it has 3 simple steps. Number 1, submit your own OUTSTEAM learning scenario. Number 2, provide feedback to the learning scenarios or regarding the learning scenarios of your peers. And you can do this by using the peer review rubric that we have in this MOOC. And the final step is, of course, to receive the feedback that you got for your own work. And this is a great way to finalize your work or make it even better. All right. Now, we know that everyone is working hard. It's the first weeks after winter break, and maybe somebody's not interested in a certificate. No problem. Even if you don't meet the deadline and you want to continue your learning, that's still possible. The MOOC is going to be available to you in an archive format. That means that every resource, video, and so on and so forth is going to be available to you. But of course, even if you complete it, you will not have access to a certificate, let's say. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask Michalis or to access the help desk. And another important information here, a small tip, is that all times presented in the MOOC are presented in CET, Central European Time, which may differ to your own local times. So make sure to check the difference so you don't miss any deadline or the events, let's say. All right. Regarding the modules, this session is a part of Module 1. Module 1 is out there, is open, and most of you have already, let's say, explored quite a bit of it. But we also wanted to give you a little bit of a sneak peek to the other modules and get you to prepare. Important, Module 1 is open, and the rest of the modules will open every Monday, one by one. So we have Module 2 that opens next Monday on the 19th of January. Then we have Module 3 that opens on the 26th. And we finish with Module 4 that opens on the 2nd of February. All right. Module 1 was all about creating a foundation. We talked about STEM, how STEM evolved into different kind of branches, let's say. And now we have, we have STEAM. We talked about benefits and challenges, the OUTSTE project, and we got introduced to the toolkit, let's say. Module 2, we're going to start diving deeper into the different pedagogical approaches that can promote STEAM learning. We have the examples from the toolkit, also opportunity for you to get to familiarize yourself with the toolkit itself, and then with the hopes of using it independently in your own time. And Module 3, we start giving you all the super duper extra elements of STEAM learning and explore how STEAM can actually help address different kind of societal challenges. We have, for example, we talked about it already. We have the disconnection from nature. We have battling gender stereotypes or awareness regarding STEM careers and so on. Okay, and Module 4, it's all about your peer assessment. We give you enough time to wrap things up, and we present next steps and follow-up ways. Before we go to the next slide, I just wanted to say that there are some activities that they are recurring or reappear in different modules. For example, we have the different events. We have the sections that they invite you to use what you've learned in the module and complete your learning scenario. We have that in all modules, actually. And there are also short quizzes at the end of each module that can help you, let's say, consolidate your learning. But more about that in a while. Okay, and without further ado, I'm sure you already had enough from me. The floor is yours, Michali. Let me just say thank you for being here. And just a disclaimer, Michalis is both a Scientix Ambassador and your MOOC moderator, so he knows a lot of things about OUTSTE, and I'm pretty sure he can answer all kinds of questions you may have about STEAM learning and promoting meaningful approaches. So the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our session. I am Michalis Ioannou. I'm an early childhood educator, and I'm really excited about STEAM. And let me tell you something more about me. Well, from a very early age, I was very sure that I have to study something with mathematics. I really like mathematics, even from preschool. But then I had another love, science, and specific natural sciences. And then I thought that it would be better for me or more exciting to have something with with engineerings to build structures, to test ideas, to test prototypes. But then again, I had another idea that I may was better to study robotics or something with new technologies. But then I was very sure that I had to study something with education and even better for me with young ages. And then I studied an early childhood educator, and a month ago I had my PhD on STEAM education. So I study all of the previous subjects, mathematics, engineering, and all these things into early childhood education. That was a dream that came true, and I'm very happy to be a part of this MOOC here. So don't hesitate to ask for any advice you want or any support. I also, as a Scientix Ambassador, I designed and implemented and tested the learning scenario of with the name Let's Sail Off the Island, which is actually a very common set of activities that we do in early childhood education, but with a more STEAM approach, because STEAM approach may enhance curiosity and problem solving of little kids. If you had the opportunity to explore my OUTSTE scenario, you will find there easy to implement with simple material without any digital technology. And I'm very happy that you have the opportunity to implement it exactly the same with the kids from 4 to 6 years old, or even with younger or older kids. So I am the MOOC moderator. It's the first time of as MOOC moderator, but I'm here to help you with any kind of problem or challenges you face. And there are two main ways that you can contact me, and I will be able to help you. The first one, it's through the MOOC in the discussion section. Then you can add your question there, and I will see, and I am trying to answer any of your questions. If it's about a technical problem, then we will find a way with the help desk, and I will guide you how you can contact them through a ticket or through our Facebook page. You can also here have to scan your QR code to have access, and there we have a more direct community channel through the Facebook. So little about me, but I hope to be able to answer all your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mihaly. And of course, this is not the end of our interaction. We'll begin shortly the discussion part of the session, which is also going to be one of the things that participants will find particularly meaningful. So thank you again, and let's move on. Of course, I have some tips and tricks regarding the MOOC, and of course, I want to share it with you because I want you to have good experience in this MOOC. Just a small note here that all these tips and tricks that you will hear about, they have come as suggestions from you. And what I say from you, I mean from participants, from other participants in other MOOCs. So do remember to complete your pre and post surveys, because this is how we can get better. This session itself was actually organized because participants in other MOOCs said that they want to see something like this. So yeah, do complete your surveys. Do let us know what we can do. We do listen. All right, so the first piece of advice that we have regards the modules and how you can actually um, gain one step when it comes to your work that or the work that entails each module. And what you can do is simply really carefully read the module's focus. That's on the first page of each module, and by reading it, you get immediately an idea about what the module is going to focus about. You even have the objectives of each module, and that already gives you a very clear image about what will come. And then the second thing you have to do is just go through the module and see what it is about, familiarize yourself with it. You don't have to complete it right away, but by doing so, you will know which kind of activities it addresses, what kind of effort it requires you, or something that interests you more or less. It gives you a very strong background regarding the work that you will have to do. As you go along, of course, keep notes. You can easily do this by saying, okay, module 2, section myths and challenges. There are interesting videos there. Simple. It doesn't take a lot of time from you, and it really helps along the way. As you do so, if you keep consistent with this, you will be able to successfully plan your work at each module, and by focusing on the parts that you think you need to be focusing more, and nothing comes as a surprise throughout the week. All right, and for sure, by keeping notes, you also have the chance to revisit things. As we talked about before, the goal of this session is to make something clear that your biggest tool, your biggest, let's say, means to prove your learning is your OUTSTEAM learning scenario. So everything you do, everything we say is to make your job better and easier towards that end. So these notes and this way of approaching the modules can also help you identify, okay, these are the main parts. This is what I should include in my OUTSTEAM learning scenario. All right. If there is any question, please let us know. And I'm just gonna move directly to the second advice. And that's also really straightforward and simple. We have created mini avatars that represent all of the Scientix ambassadors that actually worked in the OUTSTEAM learning scenarios, and they're a part of the OUTSTEAM team. So keep an eye on them, because usually they bring tips, they bring ideas, or they make you focus your attention on something important, which is also very interesting to see in the OUTSTEAM learning scenarios. So even if, let's say, the text of the module is at times a bit dense, all you have to do is just check what the Scientix ambassador has to say and follow up. And apart from their avatars, there are also videos that feature the Scientix ambassadors. And there you have a lot of info, advice, and information about their work. Now, for their videos, but also any other video in the MOOC, you can actually, you already have access to the transcript. That's the text of the video. So in case you are finding it difficult to understand the speech itself, you can just read the transcript. But you can also, if you press this button here, you can adjust the speed of the video, or also add the subtitles. These are some of the ways that we're trying to make the content, the MOOC content more inclusive for you. We are very much aware that for most of us, English is not our native language, so at times it can be challenging, especially after a day at work. So we're trying to be mindful about this. And of course, the content itself, it's clickable, which means that you can just select it, copy it, and then you can translate it using any kind of AI tool or even Google itself. You do it at your own time. The MOOC is asynchronous, and we do know that these tricks really help many teachers from around Europe and beyond. All right. Moving on, another good tip is for you to follow this icon here. And this symbol will tell you which sections are optional, but pay attention, and that's very, very important. We don't recommend that you skip those sections. We understand, though, that most of you're working full-time, and it's simply not possible to put 100% at all times at every single section of the modules. So we understand this, and we're trying to make the content more flexible and to suit your needs. So the optional sections, you choose how long you want to stay there. You choose how in depth you want to explore what the activity or the section has to offer. But we do recommend that you at least go through it, because there is a lot of meaningful knowledge in them. And by doing so, as we discussed, you can really make your OUTSTEAM learning scenario stand out. So yeah, there are the optional sections, and at the end of each module, you will find extra resources just for you to explore at your own time if you want to. These resources are there to make you deepen your knowledge and create something meaningful. Now, there are a lot of resources, so you just explore them and focus on the ones that you think are more relevant to your case. Maybe you want to focus more on the ones for the early years as a ECEC educator, or if you're working at a primary school or high school, you want to focus on the reports, for example, or frameworks, let's say. It's completely up to you. And all right, we also have the quizzes at the end of each module, but not module 4. So we have a quiz in module 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, by completing the quizzes, you can identify simply and in a very direct way the module's focus, all right? And you can also test your own learning progression. Now, they're not really, we're trying to make it engaging and meaningful for you. So you're not going to find the simple classic quizzes with one question and possible answers. We have created cases that reflect teaching practices in early year settings or primary school settings. And we're trying to show you how the module can reflect those kind of practices in those settings. Once again, by completing the quizzes, you know, let's say, more or less the main elements of each module. And this by itself can help you as you create your OUTSTEAM learning scenario. If you know that this particular module focused on technology and sustainability and had this kind of 2 suggestions, then you're ready to go. You can already think of activities that reflect those things in your OUTSTEAM learning scenario. And also important, the cases, they're not really difficult to understand and to answer, let's say, in a correct way. We don't really see this as an assessment of any sort. It's, as I say, it's a way for you to know where your focus should be. And of course, talking about assessment and this and that, we live in 2026 as of recently, and AI is everywhere. We have artificial intelligence tools beaming. It's a very new field. Everything is changing, and often education is asked to address those changes in one or other way. So for sure, assistance from AI tools, for sure we can use them. They have a lot of benefits. They do solve a lot of our problems. They give us time, and also it enhances, let's say, the learning process itself. All right, but it's also, I'm pretty sure, especially those of you working with older students, it also poses questions regarding the authentic learning, and it also brings obstacles regarding fair assessment. If you know that a student is using AI in not a right way, let's say, then it's not fair to evaluate the results of the AI creation in comparison to other students that maybe don't. and you're a part of it too. You are learning with us throughout this MOOC. So these kind of challenges and the benefits of the AI apply to you. So how did we decide to approach this? It's very simple. We are approaching the use of AI through the process-oriented assessment. And think of the process-oriented assessment as a thinking cap or some thinking glasses that shift the attention from the final product or the final outcome to the process itself. All right, it's also part of the name. So we're focusing more on the process, the journey that you followed, the steps that you took to reach the final destination. And in this case, relevant to you, is that we don't really care so much about the OUTSTE learning scenario. Anyone can use AI to create an OUTSTE learning scenario, but rather than the final, so much of the final result, we're focusing on your journey. In the learning scenario, there are many parts that are asking you to think of the process, and there are also relevant information in the modules as well. So all you have to do is just follow the OUTSTE learning scenario and the modules. So in the context of the POA or process-oriented assessment, it is perfectly okay to use AI tools. And it's not only okay, it's even encouraged. We encourage you to use them. You will see it also in the various activities that we have put together that actively ask you to use AI. You will see also in the rest of the modules. The only thing that we're asking is to show us how you use them. All right, because in this way we can inspire others and learn from the process. If you have any question regarding the POA, you can access this very interesting article and blog of the European Schoolnet Academy, and of course, as always, you can ask us directly. So yeah, use AI and let us know how you use it. That's the main important thing. It's very interesting also to learn from the way that one person uses it. Almost done. Peer learning. To be fair, at this stage or at our time, there are not so many more things that can lead us to authentic and meaningful learning other than peer assessment and peer learning. And that's also the base and the idea around which we have created the MOOC in this belief. And we do encourage you to connect with one another and promote peer learning by yourself, because this will bring you a lot of benefits. And of course, these are only some suggestions. There are way more ways to go about it. But participate in the events. You'll get the chance to communicate with one another. Do connect through the Facebook group and the MOOCs discussion forum. A lot of ideas and brainstormings happening there as well. And as always, there are the Padlets and the rest of the activities in the MOOC. I would say a good 80% of them, they're asking you to share your ideas and your practices. So you share what you know, but you're also learning from others. So go on, participate and enjoy what these activities have to offer. And all right, I know you love my beautiful voice, but I'm passing the floor once again to the Scientix Ambassadors. That's when we will share some questions with them. And based on the reflections, I'm pretty sure that a lot of you will gain a lot of insight and hopefully also ideas about how to approach your learning. Before I start with the questions, I would like to give the floor to Ana Luro, Scientix Ambassador from Portugal, so she can present herself and talk a little bit briefly about the work that she did with us. So Ana, please, you're invited to take the floor. Let us know everything that you have in mind.
Hello, everyone. So nice to be here with all of you to share nice thoughts about STEM education with the rest of the world. So yeah, I'm Ana Louro. I'm from Portugal. I began my professional career by teaching math. I loved math since the beginning, as my colleague. But later in life, later in my professional life, I would say, I started to realize that students are not that keen to study math here in Portugal. I don't know about your country. But then I had the opportunity to learn that if we introduce other science into the math lessons, they get more interested in the subject and they can relate to their own lives and to real life problems. And that's how we started to use STEM subjects to encourage students to solve problems, real life problems. So yeah, I started to integrate other science, math, physics, chemics, art as well, and all the subjects at the moment can be integrated into one big project and help to solve our some of our life problems. And that's what we do at school these days. So people and the students and other teachers can relate more to the difficult subject that is math. Yeah. So
Thank you very much, Anna.
yeah. For the yeah.
Please. Sorry to interrupt you. I thought
So for
you wrapped things up.
for this learning scenario, it was a challenge that I decided to accept because it was another opportunity for me to learn more about the subject and to introduce it into my school and into other schools as well, because I'm also a teacher training, so I have the possibility to go to other schools and encourage other teachers to learn more about this approach. Yes.
Thank you very much. I just also wanted to say something because you did share a little bit about your background. But what I would like to say here is that it's amazing oftentimes how teachers are able to really exhibit what they've done and what they've learned and their background through their work. So I'm pretty sure that anyone that will access your learning scenario will be able to find traces of the background that you just shared. So thank you very much for this. And also just a note that the learning scenario, Let's Fix It, that's the learning scenario that Anna Loru created, but also the learning scenario, The Guardians of Tribology, they were created through the collaboration of OUTSTE with Timken, which is an industry partner. Just a small note for you to have in mind. All right, since Anna also had a chance to present herself, I'll just dive into the first question that I have for you that I find also particularly interesting. And I would like to ask you both, why do you believe that your learning scenario is a good example to promote STEM learning? What makes it a good practice, let's say? All right, I see Michalis is ready to give us his answer. Please, Michali, you can go ahead.
I think that that's the most important thing about the learning scenario I suggest is that we use simple material that we already have in the classroom. We don't need to buy anything expensive or something sophisticated. Even we can implement it even without any use of digital technology. So I think this is a good choice for, especially if I say for example, in Greece, I'm not sure that all the schools, the early childhood schools, have the opportunity to buy expensive material. So we can utilize the material we already have, recycling papers and all of this stuff, and implement it in an easy way. We just need a bottle of water.
Indeed, and in connection to that, I would also like to add that it's also it's a challenge, let's say, that many teachers face. We don't have resources. What do we do about it? How can we implement all these wonderful ideas about integrated STEM learning if there are no resources? So this is a good way. It is a way that makes this learning scenario stand out. And also, it's important to say that your learning scenario addresses early year students. And that's also another challenge and a myth that we have, that we cannot teach integrated STEM to young students, which is also one of the core things that the project itself is trying to tackle. So thank you very much. Anna, would you like to add something to this question as well? Please, the floor is yours.
Yes, so I agree with my colleague. It's easy to use some of the day-to-day materials, which was not exactly my case. So that was one of the weaknesses of my learning scenario, but also a challenge that we faced, and because we use a lot of technology in that learning scenario. But one way for solving that kind of problem is to work with your community around the school, so ask other teachers, ask the principal, ask the council if they have extra materials that they can lend to the school, and by doing that the school doesn't have to spend money on materials, and we can solve the problem. That's one way of solving it.
Absolutely, and it's also our hope that other teachers that have similar problems to the ones that you identified or weaknesses can use your learning scenario as a guide, as a way to see, okay, what can I do about it? All right, and let's go to another question. This is going to be also important for our participants. I would like to ask you, in general, based on your experience, what makes a strong OUTSTEAM learning scenario? Because based on your answers, maybe participants can already start thinking about what can they do, what should they go about to create a very strong OUTSTEAM learning scenario. All right. Yeah, Anna, please, you can go first.
Yeah. So I would say communicate with the community around you. That's the basics. If you try to build a scenario like this once on your own, it's really difficult. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's very time consuming, and you're not just doing that. You are also teaching every day of the week. So it's going to be a big difficulty. But if you look at the community around you, as I said before, it can easier your work, and it will do much better, much better. Also, if you try to look around and find a problem that you have on your day-to-day life. So if you can relate to a problem that's there every single day and we want to solve it, you can start from there and try to arrange a way of solving it, asking for help from your students. So if they feel they can help you, and if they feel they are in a good path to solve a problem that everyone feels about it, it's a good way of getting students engaged in the learning process. I would say those.
And I couldn't agree more. As a person who has seen quite many learning scenarios, usually the ones that really stand out are the ones that really connect with a community in different ways. I would like to put a full stop to this kind of reflection regarding your own work and the work that you're trying to inspire to other participants, and to move already to our main section, our main audience Q&A. There are some questions already in the chat, and there were also a lot of questions in the designated section that we had for this event in the MOOC platform. We will not have the time to address everything, unfortunately, but there were some very interesting ones. Before we dive into the main questions, I would like to address already some general ones. There were a lot of questions regarding the need to see more classroom practices and real examples directly in class about STEAM learning, integrated STEM, and people are asking where they can find them. And a very simple answer is to stay tuned, because there is a lot of more examples coming up in the following modules. All right, so just stay tuned. Other questions, there were a lot of them again. I tried to group them together, and they had to do with, okay, I'm working as a teacher in early year settings. We do have limited resources. How can I integrate STEAM learning in this level? Apart from what we've talked already, a good way is to utilize the OUTSTEAM toolkit. That's why exactly it was made. It has a lot of examples of activities for the early years. And even if you are not able to use them as they are, you're more than welcome to adapt it and adjust it to your own needs and your own context. And that goes for every material in the toolkit. You just take it and get inspired by it and adjust it. And all right, I want to answer as many questions as possible. So without further ado, I will go to this one. Somebody from the chat already asked, okay, so do we really need to focus on the outdoor activities when writing a learning scenario, or can it be any other subject like sustainability or technology? I don't know if you already have any idea, Anna or Mihaly. If not, I can already take. All right. Yes, this is more of a technical question, so I'm happy to provide an answer. This was actually one of the challenges that we had to face. It's not so easy. Oftentimes, we don't have the green spaces as you shared in the chat, or our schools are very far away from green spaces. So the way that we approached it is to, if we're not able to have activities in the outdoor learning environment, then base our learning in an activity that happened in the outdoor learning environment. Let's say the inspiration for every activity that can happen in your learning scenario can begin in an outdoor learning space. And based on this, let's say, learning, everything else can follow, even if they are inside the classroom. This is one of the simplest way that you can go about it. And of course, you do not have to do it, but of course we encourage it. We encourage to find connections to the outdoor learning environment as much as possible. And if you're not able to, that's why we have the process-oriented assessment. You can just write it there. If you look at the OUTSTE learning scenario, there is a lot of information there. So, all right, some more questions for my Scientix ambassadors. Very common one as well. They say that, okay, integrated STEM can be challenging at times, all right? Especially when we have to make connections to languages like Italian or English or history, and make connections to cultural, let's say, and local context. So what would you be your answer to this? It's something difficult to make connections to as many subjects as possible. So what was your experience and how did you address this? Yes, Mihaly, thank you.
In our case, and in many curricula in across European Union, we can find the interdisciplinary approach. Actually, STEAM is an interdisciplinary approach, and something that the early childhood educators do every day in the classroom. We don't have so many concrete subjects. So, for example, if we study about the water, then we can have myths about water or historical approach of water, of boats, for example, I live in Piraeus, so we have the technology of the boats, the evolution of the boats. We see a lot of museum about water and water transportation. So with one theme as a core, for example, water, then we can have cultural heritage, history, language, mathematics, and all of the STEAM disciplines so naturally and physically integrated into everyday teaching.
Thank you so much, Mihaly. Wonderful reflections. What about you, Anna? Would you like to add something to this?
Yes, I think it's easier to integrate different subjects in early years. It's not that easier when you have all the students like a middle school or secondary school. It's more difficult, but because you have a different teacher for a different subject. So that's why communication is so important between teachers, and to try to connect the curriculum from math, from physics, for chemists, from English, from history, from geography. It's not impossible, and with the help with AI tools that we have today, it became quite easy actually. We just have to be careful with the prompts that we use and read everything before trying to implement it in the classroom, and see if we have the proper space, the proper um, um, security procedure for the students and for the kids. It's not impossible. I found it quite easy these days with the help of AI, but it takes a lot of effort in terms of working together with other teachers. That's the big difficulty, I would say.
And you're actually giving me the perfect bridge to my next question, because it's rather true. Sometimes we may have the motivation, we may want to do great things, but we don't get the proper support, let's say, from the school as a context or from our colleagues. So yeah, next question. It is true, not all teachers feel ready. Many teachers feel like they lack the skills, or they don't know how to go about it, and they think that integrated STEM is something very vague and difficult. So question to you, how do we go about and change the mindset of teachers? What can we do to start changing this narrative? Because it's actually one of the main challenges and myths that we have about integrated STEM. Yes, Anna, you can go ahead since you raised your hand first.
Yeah, so for me, the key is teacher training and work with the ministries of education. I know by experience that if we have a notice, an email, rule coming from the Ministry of Education to the schools, every school will want to do it in the right way. If you try to do a different approach on your own without any rule, it's much more difficult to combine all the environment around you and all the different approaches that all the teachers have. So basically, the ministers of education need to invest a lot in teacher training. That's the big key.
As always, we normally come back to this teacher training. Any reflection, Mihaly? You don't need to add something if nothing comes to mind at the moment. But in general, what I would
it
like,
is very clear. Yes.
I would like to add to this and say that this online course that we have prepared for you, OUTSTE in Action, Let's STEAM, it is also a very first step. It's a very good first step. Even if you're new to this, there are very easy examples, resources for you to explore at your own time and make slowly the jump into using them. And of course, the OUTSTEAM toolkit. There are a lot of relevant resources and examples, practical examples that you can use. I only have 2 minutes before I have to wrap this session, but there are a lot of questions, and it's a double-edged sword. I'm both sad that we're not going to be able to answer all of them, but I'm also very happy that it seems to be a vibrant community that wants to interact and communicate. So please go on, use your questions to interact with one another in the discussion forums. But before we do wrap things up, I would like to briefly mention that we can keep the discussion going by joining the second event of this MOOC. That's a webinar. Save the date. It's on Wednesday, the 21st of January. All right, you just follow the module 2, and you will connect in the same way you did today. And the focus will be on the OUTSTEAM toolkit, You'll hear directly from the source, from the people and the experts that created it. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of info about how you can make your OUTSTE learning scenarios boom with meaningful activities. And there is also a Teach Meet. Teach Meets are the events they're events created by teachers for teachers. So in case you have any integrated STEM teaching experience, practice, idea, tool, project that you've had, and you want to participate as a speaker and share with the world what you've done, just follow the link right over here or scan the barcode and let us know. All right, going quickly. I'm very mindful of your time and I thank you for this. And the STEM Discovering Campaign 2026, it's almost out there. The campaign celebrates and promotes STEM education, and it's organized by Scientix. Scientix is the community for science education in Europe, and each, let's say, campaign runs from February until end of April. So if you participate in this campaign, you will be able to share any kind of STEM learning you have, or any project you have had, and in this way, you will be able to be considered for awards, workshop prizes, and other STEM-related activities and opportunities. There is going to be an award from the OUTSTE project, and that's relevant to you. Why? Well, very simple. Because as part of this MOOC, you will create an OUTSTE learning scenario. So all you have to do is just submit it as part of the SDC 2026. And by doing so, as I said, you will be considered as a winner, given you pass the evaluation. All right? So just stay tuned. If you want to become a Scientix Ambassador, there is an open call for that. So if you want to share your expertise and inspire and connect with more than 1,500 experts from around Europe and beyond, all you have to do is just follow click on this icon here and follow the instructions. And before you go, as always, if you haven't done it, please give us your signatures. And that's it. This is a wrap. I really want to thank the Scientix Ambassadors for being here together with us. I do believe that peer learning works, and there is nothing better that inspires other teachers than teachers. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your ideas. And as for the participants, learning is still active, and I'm really looking forward to receiving your OUTSTE learning scenarios. All best and enjoy your evening. Bye, everyone.